Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again with the last little video, about a bit of Endgame on the Energy Blade Trickster, because I did find one of them fancy schmancy Endgame improvements memory tile things, which you put on your map and then you get to run some of the content that it is based around. And this one is based around essences, but first of all, I just want to show you a little bit more about just the gameplay of the Trickster, which did do just a few more things on the last day that I played it for like another 3 or 4 hours or something before I moved on to making a new build. If it was up to me and I didn't have a stream or some shit and I didn't usually make builds every 5 days, I'd probably keep playing it for a bit longer because I was starting to ramp into some end game. It just would have taken a bit to get to like higher bosses and more Ubers and all that, and becomes a bit of a gameplay loop that's not too interesting anymore at that point. Especially when the character isn't all that for the end game. So he took me from starter leveling all the way through to maps, and then into some low end game, and it felt pretty good. So I did one Shaper memory thing with a couple of the Shaper Guardians. On this level of content, it's pretty decent. It's not anything amazing because with the point blank Spectral Helix setup, you are fairly melee kinda. You need to be like right on top of the boss to hit, and my character doesn't have supremely good defenses for that type of face tanking, so we have to retreat every now and again, and the DPS isn't mind-blowing. It's something like 5 to 10 million at its best. So ultimately it's not bad, but we could easily move on, start playing some other characters, and hopefully find a better one for pure endgame. And I do love making more and more characters and trying shit out, and with this patch and plenty of uniques and shit, I've got a lot of cooked ideas that need to come to boiling point. Yeah, let's go with that. So we did put the Trickster away after just a little bit more endgame and then trying out the memory system thing. So the whole new memory thing was billed as this endgame system where you can rarely find one of these, and then when you do, you get to mess around with and try a different type of league mechanic on the Atlas. So you get a little memory thing and you can place it anywhere you want on the map, starting on a map, and hopefully it just snakes around and picks some of the maps you like. I decided to just chuck it somewhere near the top for high tier content like pure tier 16s and shit, and it then gives you a map that you can roll that has all kinds of silly modifiers on it. In this case it was Essence, and it's also buffs all of the modifiers that you put onto the map a little bit more. So you do have to kind of be careful not to roll these things too crazily if they're kind of crazy, because in this case we have essences that get duplicated that have lots of essence mods on them, and the essence mobs you are fighting are Exiles. It is actually a really cool system to bring back Exiles as more of a meaningful fight, because basically, yeah, for the past, I don't know, like 6 years, you just see them, you blow them up instantly, you know nothing about what they do, and it's just a meaningless interaction. Whereas now, if you got a character that's not going to completely obliterate them, you can see their move sets, you can try and play around them and all that, or you can get completely wrecked because sometimes they counter you, like the +2 cleave buff on this case, because that guy has a cleave and he's also got resolute technique, which means my evasion does nothing and it just guarantees hits me. So some of these were actually pretty nutty. Like my character, as I said, isn't that good for like raw face tanking end game stuff because I've got to be fairly point blank, and I'm not that durable, especially being based around evasion when a lot of these guys can counter that. On top of that, essences just constantly shit out non-stop sort of mechanics, and it's not good for my sort of recovery system either. Some of these exiles were just crazy. I ended up dying over the course of 5 maps maybe like 20 times. I think I killed every single one I encountered, so there were none that I actually left alive in the end, but some were infinitely harder than others, maybe because it got ghosted, maybe because I wasn't ready for its moveset, or because maybe I rolled something on the map that I shouldn't have. In this case, it's like the extra life as ES buff, which means they start out with a huge extra buffer of energy shield that forces you to do a lot more damage to them to kill them than you otherwise would. But with the right amount of soft core, throwing your corpse at them, you can still get them down and collect the sweet, sweet, juicy essences. By the end of it all, I had an extra, like, I don't even know, 100 plus shrieking essences or something. Like, it doubled my essence tab when I was finished, and I had a pretty good amount of essences before as I was farming essences already. There are definitely some weaker and some stronger memories, so from what I've heard, some of them can get pretty damn filthy. Like the harvest one could give you like 5,000 juice to every single type of juice if you just clear it on high tier maps and shit. The like strongbox one might be a bit flaccid, but it might be very cool. There's going to be various ones, and there's going to be various results. And overall, it's just kind of a cool system, I think. So the Exile one that I got with the essences, I think I'll do a lot better next time around. This character just wasn't super well set up for it. The only unfortunate thing is it kind of just, can pick some shit maps. So my final map was a Grave Trough, as you can see, and man, that map just sucks. But otherwise, it's just still just fighting some exiles, and some of these just ended up wrecking me. So one of them was a Chaos Exile that was just busting through my energy shield, even though I've got like 75 Chaos Res, I think, with my flask up. It got pretty ridiculous, all those double essence mods. So it's good stuff. That's the endgame memory system. And then just lastly, I did a few more Lake of Calandras, and the rewards at the moment were buffed to the point where chests are a lot more profitable, and special case tiles like this one, like a Beyond one, just really aren't that worth doing. So I still did a lot of testing and playing around, and the Beyond ones can be kind of fun, but they are pretty ridiculous when you put them on the higher tier tile sets. I don't remember what this one was, maybe like difficulty 10, and spawns a Beyond monster on every kill, and they get so thick. Like I can kill any of the Shaper Guardians pretty comfortably in a couple of seconds or some shit, whereas some of this stuff just hits harder than that, and then has more damage reduction. So you got to be careful around those, and then the higher tier tile sets in general just don't seem to be super worthwhile as special tiles yet, because I think they're going to get buffed more. And if you just pick generic shit, there's going to be a chest there, and the generic chests are buffed, and they do have some pretty worthwhile rewards, I think. And then if you get Calandra on the later tile sets, then you got a higher chance of getting like positive duplicate flips and stuff. And then lastly, just this thing, it was like tier 14 or 13, and it was like double breach thing. I knew I had no chance of doing it, but I wanted to try it anyway, and it was ridiculous. So yeah, just time for hopefully something a bit better, and in that case I have picked Reeve and Blade Flurry Inquisitor. So next video should hopefully have a bit of a guide around that character, only just starting to gear him up, and we'll see how it goes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.